Guys, welcome to the Cash Flow Talk. I'm super excited today. I have Christy Risco. She is a real estate investor, hard money lender here in South Florida, and she's also working on a new podcast, Both on Board. Christy, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. I know you're super busy. You're also a mom. Thank you so much for your time. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Christy, I'm super excited to have you on today because I know Ramon. I actually met you through Ramon. He's your husband, obviously, but the viewers don't know he's your husband. Ramon is also a real estate investor, wholesaler, and a hard money lender. We've been in contact for a few months or years now. And I met you at his Millionaire Mind Mastermind here in Miami recently. And I was like, oh my God, I want to have you on here because we share something that not many people do, is that we work as a couple together in the same business. You work with your husband, I work with my wife. So that's awesome, Christy. In a minute, tell me a little bit about you, who you are, what do you do?
Okay, well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and share a little bit of our experience so far working together. So we met in 2008. I was a fourth grade teacher, was an elementary school teacher in the public school system. And about 4 or 5 years into our relationship and into my teaching career, I started to get a little antsy. I wasn't really happy there anymore. So my husband, had decided to get back into real estate. He went through the crash and kind of did a couple of other things, and we decided to get back in. He decided to get back in to the market, and I was just, I don't know, something inside me was like, I want to learn about real estate. So I did simultaneously teach and learn about real estate. In 2011 we started, and by 2012 I decided that I was going all into our business. So I handed in my resignation letter, and I haven't looked back. So it's been quite the journey.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I relate to that because also in 2008, 2009, I was getting into real estate, and I went 100% January 1st of 2010. And I hadn't done a deal working part-time. I don't see how people say, yeah, you can work part-time and you can make whatever money. When you focus is when you start seeing the results, right? Guys, Christy Risco with us. She's an entrepreneur, and on her Facebook profile, she has that you love, or your biggest goal is to empower entrepreneurs and couples to create life and business of their dreams. That's awesome, guys. By the way, if you like what you're hearing, subscribe to the channel below. Hit that subscribe button and comment below if you guys have any questions. Christy, tell me a little bit about you working with your husband. How does it work? You guys are sharing 24/7, not just activities about business, but also your real life. You have 1 or 2 kids, right? You have one baby daughter?
One daughter, 3-year-old daughter. Yeah.
Yes, I have a 2-year-old daughter as well, so I know how business and life goes. Share with me that experience to the mom entrepreneur out there.
So I think we've been through very different paths. We were working from home for the first 2 years, so that was interesting. We actually moved in together because we started the business. Okay. So it was simultaneous, like, okay, let's live together and let's start this business together. So it was a lot of fun there at the beginning, figuring that out. We worked from our 1-bedroom apartment, so that was crowded, and we had to, we stepped on each other's toes a lot. Eventually, after about 2 years of getting better with the consistent income and growing the business, we got an office, and we had, at one point, within a few years, we had hired like 3 employees that worked with us, and so we grew that, and that was a nice shift to have it in the office rather than at home all the time. But then once I had my daughter and I still wanted to obviously be part of the business, we decided at one point, again in 2017, we closed the office, and now we're back working at home. So it's like we've tried the different dynamics, and I think the biggest thing for us is like what's working for us, like what do we really want right now. So for 5 years we hustled, we did all the hard work, we worked days, nights, weekends, holidays, nothing, 5 long years of a lot of work. And then once we got pregnant and we decided, okay, well, what's the next phase? So the next phase, we want it to be a little bit lighter. We want it to be a little more free. You know, being in the office all day long and having employees, it's a big commitment.
Yeah.
And so, so little by little, once we had our daughter, we decided, okay, like, what's the next step? So we're really passionate about the life and business of your dreams, because for us, it's all one, right? There's no clear lines of, okay, I don't want to talk about this right now. It's all us. It's all our business. It's all our life. So we try to put everything into one integrated life, right? And it can get a little blurry, right? It can be, okay, it's too much business right now, we need a break, or okay, now we need to get back into the business because you know, obviously we need income, and we need to obviously produce. So it's just a fun dynamic of seeing like what it is that we want and what we want our life to look like, and then going from there. Whereas before it was like, we want the business, and we want the income, and we want, like, it was very different. Once we had the baby, it shifted completely. So having that awareness of like where you're at is just so valuable, and the fact that we can see it in each other is probably my favorite thing about working together. Is it can get a little heavy being together as often as we are, or being in the same, like right now, this is our office, we share this office space, so you know, it can have moments of like, okay, I need some some space.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we look to make it work, and it obviously, you know, there's difficult days and there's also amazing days, so we focus more on those, and we've learned a lot of tips and tricks to just enjoy the journey and really just make it work, you know, at the end of the day.
That's awesome. I relate to that a lot, because it's the same thing. Before we had our daughter, we were like, oh my God, I want the nice condo, I want the nice car, I want the nice clothes, I want the nice lifestyle. And after we had our baby daughter, everything also shifted. It's more like, okay, now I want the nice vacations. I don't need the nice car, the nice house, the nice things. I want nice vacations. I want nice time with her. I want to be able to clock out or leave business at 4 p.m. to pick her up, or 3 p.m. to pick her up. If she's not feeling good, I can pick her up from school. I'm not saying that if you're employed, you can't do that. Of course you can. You know, everybody can clock out and go get her. But it's that feeling of the freedom. Yeah. You know, it's that feeling that, like, I say it all the time. Like, one of my biggest dreams is to be able to say, okay, Tuesdays, you're not going to school, you know, Tuesdays you're going to spend them with me, and we're going to go play golf, or we're going to go to the beach or whatever, you know, and not necessarily because of the Tuesday, but it's like a symbolic thing. Like, I don't care what's going on, we're going to spend some quality time together. So that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about your business itself, about the real estate business. What do you guys do? I know you've been into the residential business, commercial business, you sold some properties, now you're getting into the hard money lending business. Tell me a little bit about how you guys work together, but what do you do?
Okay, so we started 2012, 2011, 2012. We were, back then it was REOs were the flavor of the month. So we were sending offers on REO deals and wholesaling. Once we got some experience there, we got into fix and flip. So we were actually closing on the properties, prehabbing, which is basically the term that we used to kind of just, we cleared it out and we got it ready for a rehabber, and we sold it cash to rehabbers. Once we started to get some good capital, then we started to buy the rentals. In 2013 to about 2015, we acquired, I'd say, give or take, like 90 doors, residential, duplex, triplex, fourplexes. Our biggest one was in Little Havana, here in Miami. It was an 18-unit building that we pretty much rehabbed, you know, refilled with quality tenants, and then we sold that off in a year and a half. So that was our biggest project that took us, you know, a little over a year and a half to complete.
Okay.
Then that's around the time when my daughter was born, and then we started to shift things. We started to say, okay, what's next? Having the office, having the overhead, having the employees was a big deal. There was a lot of pressure there. So then we started to sell off the portfolio of rentals. So once we finished that, then we were able to get into the lending space, which is not passive, contrary to popular belief. It's not a very passive business, and it is a lot more passive. There's a lot more freedom. There's a lot more. There's a lot less infrastructure needed. So right now it's just Ray and I. We do it together. We do anywhere. Right now we have about 22 loans out. Mostly not in Miami. It's mostly in other cities in Ohio, Cleveland, Columbus, Philly. Like, so we're just kind of diversifying.
Okay.
And just kind of also waiting and seeing what's happening next in the market. So basically, the reason I tell you the whole story is just like the flexibility of like, okay, what's working, what's going on right now, and really staying on top of number one, what we want, and then number two, what's happening in the market. So once we started seeing the market was getting really hot, things were, just prices were skyrocketing. I was like, okay, I think it's a good time to sell. Let's check for now. It also gave us the freedom, the time freedom, the financial freedom to kind of move on to the next phase. So, that's been what we're focusing on now. And then now, you can see behind me, we're actually doing our next big project, which is our Both on Board podcast on entrepreneurial couples who work together.
That's super exciting. That was gonna be my next question. Oh my God, I was gonna head right there. So just keep going.
Yeah, no, just that. Just really, we've learned so much. It feels like it's been forever, right? It's been about seven years that we've actually been working together full time, and it's just all the things that we've learned. I'm also in the process of writing my first book.
Wow.
On the topic, yeah. So it's just funny, like going back and like reliving those stories of how we got started, all of the bumps and bruises we had, and all of the, obviously all of the good times, and how beneficial it can be to work together, and how the better you get at working together, the more it exponentially, it's exponential growth in your success as well.
That's awesome.
That's one of our biggest things, just being able to work better together and being able to have it all. So
that's awesome, guys. Don't forget to check out her podcast. Both on Board is going to be live on May 2nd, is what you said, right?
Yes, May 2nd is our launch date.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Are you guys gonna have a website for this?
We do have a website. It's bothonboard.com. And
by the way, it's a great name.
Thank you.
For Couples Podcast. That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. So, guys, check it out. I assume it's going to be on iTunes. I assume it's going to be on Spotify, everywhere where podcasts are published, right? Exactly. And obviously on your website. Yeah, I think we're in the market of providing content, providing value. And before I hit that record button, I told you the reason why I'm doing these Deal Makers episodes on Wednesdays. And I also have the Shit Happens episodes on Fridays. And the Deal Makers, I'm doing it. I don't want to interview the person that has 200,000 million properties out there and is like living on a yacht 24/7. I want to interview the person like you and me that has 5 years of experience, 2 years of experience, maybe the person that has a 9-to-5 job and has been able to save some money for a down payment for an investment property. A person that has been going through struggles but I was able to get through it and now he's profitable in the business. People that we can relate more, I don't want to interview the Mark Zuckerberg. By the way, if I have a chance, of course I will. Don't get me wrong. But the goal of the channel is to interview more people that are making deals happen. That's why I'm calling it Deal Makers. And I'm gonna tell you the shit happens because it's gonna lead me to my next question. On Fridays on my YouTube channel. By the way, subscribe below, guys. On my channel, I have something that is called Shit Happens, and the reason why I'm doing the Shit Happens episodes on Fridays is because I'm tired of the fakers online just showing fake results by promising people they can work for 2 hours a week and in 6 months they're gonna be millionaires. Guys, in business things are hard and things don't always go the right way. So what I want to share in the Shit Happens episodes is things that happen in my business and in other people's business. Evictions, liens, violations, deals that get lost, bad tenants, I don't know, bad budgets for contractors, loans that don't get paid on time. I mean, I can go on and on and on. So I want to share what's real. I want to share the bad and the ugly, but most importantly, what I learned from it. So now leading to the question, you've been in business. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy also to work with your husband and having a baby. What has been one of your biggest shit happens, or one of your biggest obstacles, or one of your biggest deals where you lost money on that you can share with us. But don't just share the story. Share what you learned from it and how did you overcome it. Even if you just made money and you said, hey, fuck it, sorry for my language. If you say, hey, fuck it, we lost money here, let's just move on and make something positive on the next one. But what has been one of your biggest challenges, and what did you learn from it?
I think that deal-wise, all the stuff that you said, we've probably been through several times, right? Especially in I would say, I love the wholesaling. We did some rehab stuff, so some projects in rehabs, and that for me, I thought I was gonna love it, and it was terrible. I did not like it, dealing with the contractors, dealing with, the other side, the sell side, and having to deal with appraisals and all that. That was, for me, I thought it was going to be so much fun, a total HGTV, let's put on our hard hat, and no, that was terrible. But I was more involved with the property management side of things and the rentals. So you can imagine 90 plus rental properties, right? All over Miami and Broward. So they were all scattered, they were all spread out, and it was just really, really difficult. Like it was, I mean, I could sit here and tell you all horror stories, but just really getting clear on what we didn't want was huge. So like really saying, okay, I don't want to babysit tenants anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that is a big deal, and it was great for us. We learned a lot. It was fruitful. It was, it was awesome. And at the same time, like having that clarity of like, okay, what's not working, and then let's try to fix that. So I think that's one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs have. They go into a business and they're like, oh, it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be all rainbows and it's going to be awesome. And then you get into the real world and you're drowning, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
You're stressed out. So I think that's the biggest thing that we learned was like, okay, we're in this situation. What do we not like about this? And I think the biggest thing with the rental properties was the tenants. They're tenants at the end of the day. It's not their property. They're doing the best that they can, and it was so we had so many sleep deprived nights that being able to say, okay, this is not working for us anymore. Let's move on to this next thing, and then being able to bridge that gap little by little, and how we did it, which was in our case, we sold the rental portfolio, and then we got into something a little bit more passive. Yes, we still deal with borrowers, we still deal with late payments, we still deal with a lot of the stuff that's part of the industry, and it feels a lot better than, for us, property management. And some people love property management. I have friends, and you guys still have a lot of properties. I have friends that have hundreds of single family houses all over Broward County, and they don't mind picking up the phone during dinner and saying, oh, your toilet's broken? Okay. But we were clear that Ray and I just did not enjoy that. So once we had a few property managers who just picked up and left because things were so crazy, we were like, okay, let's wrap this up and let's move on to the next. So I think just getting that clarity on what it is that you really want your business to look like and your life, right? Because your life and business, they pretty much go hand in hand. Having that clarity to then, okay, what's the next step? So that was for us the biggest learning lesson. Is like, okay, we don't have to stay stuck in this if we don't want to. There's other ways to make money or to create impact or whatever that looks like. So I think that for us, when you say learning lesson, like that was the biggest thing. Is like being clear on what's working and what's not, and how do we fix it. That's
awesome. That's awesome. That's one of the things I say all the time. If you want to be a successful landlord, unfortunately, you have to be an asshole. It's not easy. It's not a charity. You still have to pay mortgages in many of these properties, and taxes and insurance, and deal with repairs. And although I am a pro for helping the tenants get the repairs done, like I don't want my tenant to be suffering if the toilet is leaking.
Absolutely.
I'll get it fixed right away, but don't combine a repair with a late payment. Pay me on time and I'll get you repaired. And it doesn't mean that you need to pay me before I send you the repair guy. No, I'll send you the repair guy. But don't come back telling me, hey, I'm not going to pay you on time or this and that, because this is not a charity. It's run as a business, and sometimes you need to be an asshole for them to understand that rent needs to be paid, or you're gonna get kicked out. That's awesome. Tell me a little bit about the millionaire mastermind that we did in Miami. a few weeks ago. Not just the mastermind itself, but the purpose of it. That was a beautiful thing that you and your husband did. We raised over just under $60,000 for a great cause. Share with me a little bit about that, because in business, you're in business to make money, right? Period. You're in business to make money. But at the end of the day, you have to leave a legacy behind, and you need to help other people. And what you guys did was awesome. I was blessed to be able to say that I was part of it, just a little bit. But share with me a little bit about what you did, and how were you able to do it, and how did you come up with the whole idea?
Well, I credit Ray to the whole idea. I did some of the behind the scenes work, but it was definitely his idea and his just giving heart that I love so much. But that was pretty much, we've been talking about giving back, and like you said, that word legacy for us is huge. And part of the book that I'm writing on, and one of the things we're going to be talking about in the podcast too, is that at some point, right, we were able to do it in 5 years, our definition of quote unquote financial freedom, right? And then at some point you have enough that, no, we're not living on a yacht like you were saying, and no, we're not, but we're comfortable, we're happy with where we're at, and we love what we do. So it's not like we were going to be like, okay, that's it, no more work. But you get to a certain point where then you're like, okay, what else can we do, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's what we were discussing when he got this idea. It's like, what else can we do to give back, right? And not just give back, but leave an impact and help others leave an impact as well. Because it's not just about us saying, oh yeah, we raised $60,000 and we're so amazing. It's, we raised $60,000, and that's had this trickle effect on other people who are now creating mastermind events that they want to also raise a certain amount of money and give to a charity or give to a certain cause. And it's just that feeling of like when you're working, and again with our relationship as well, when you're working for a higher purpose, everything else gets so much easier. Yeah. And us, with those 5 years that we did all the work, we put in the sweat equity, we did everything that we needed to do, and now we're at a place where it's like, okay, how do we help others do the same? How do we help? And that's where the podcast has come in, that's where the book has come in. It's not about the money anymore, although we feel, what's the word? We feel a duty to make more money in order to create bigger impact. So a lot of people don't like to talk about the money side, because it's like, oh, then I'm greedy, then I'm this, then I'm that. And we are of the opposite mentality. I want to make a ton of money. I want to help other people make a ton of money, because with a ton of money, we can make a bigger impact.
Absolutely.
So kind of opening up that new conversation, which was our thing with the Millionaire Mastermind, is let's create millionaires that give millions back. So if we want to have $10 million in the bank account, we want to give away 9 of it, or whatever it is that we don't need anymore, because you get to a point where all you want to do is help others. And that can be by leading others to, helping others become financially free. It can be by the charity that we decided to give back to, which was with human trafficking in Mexico, and all the all the countries, and even here in the United States, there's a lot of that. And we want to find ways to help others who are not able to do it for themselves for whatever reason. And that gives you this increased purpose of living and then we're also showing our daughter this, it's like,
absolutely, yeah.
It's like my parents did just enough to get by, and that's great, and I had a great childhood, and I never needed anything, but I never really saw okay, we have enough, so now let's go give more, absolutely. And that for us, for Ray and I both, it really gives us a higher sense of purpose, and it's inspiring others as well, which is the goal, right? To inspire other leaders and other people to give back as well, and we're just excited about it. So that was just within, I think it was 18 days, Ray sent out a few emails, and it just, magic happened. We had 24.
Yeah, it was like $59,000 or $60,000. That's awesome. Yeah. That's also made with the connections that you guys have. Christy, one last question, and with this I'm going to let you go. I know I told you it was going to be short and sweet. It's been super sweet. I'm trying to keep it as short as possible. Give me 1 or 2 tips on how couples can work better together.
One or two tips. I would say that the biggest thing that I see from other friends or couples who work together is that we are obsessed, completely obsessed with personal development and mindset and getting to know ourselves at a deeper level. So we're constantly reading, we're constantly going to events. We both have, between the two of us, we have about 6 coaches right now, reaching out and getting mentors and getting advice and getting, consultants coming into the business. Like, we are constantly learning and growing in every aspect of our lives, whether it's health, whether it's parenting. I had a parenting call with a coach on parenting this morning because I want to make sure that I'm being the best mom I can be to my daughter, and I don't know everything. I know a lot, and I have women's intuition, and I have moms, I know a lot as a mom, and there's always more to learn and more to grow into. So that for us has been one of the biggest things. Like, we're always learning. We're always talking to each other. We're always reading. We're always journaling, meditation, like anything that you can do to kind of expand and be like, it's not just about this little old me. Like, it's everything around me and how it all affects and how it all works together. So the more you grow and the more your partner grows, the higher you guys can grow together. So that is our biggest philosophy, is just to continue growing and learning as much as you can. And literally it becomes like an addiction. Like, you want to read more and you want to learn more and you want to. Awesome. Like, we plan all of our vacations around events. Like, oh, there's this thing happening in Nashville. Okay, we're gonna go 2 days early, see Nashville. We're gonna stay for the event, and then we're gonna stay 2 days. Like, that's how we do it now.
That's
it wasn't always like that.
That's awesome, Christy. Thank you so much. To wrap it up, guys, subscribe to the channel below. Don't forget, and follow Christy on her Facebook, on her Instagram. Her handle has been at the bottom of the entire talk. So follow this awesome lady and her husband Ramon. And make sure you download or check out her podcast coming up, both on board. And again, don't forget to subscribe. Christy, I want to ask you a favor. At the beginning, I asked the viewers to subscribe to the channel. But one thing is if it comes from me. The other thing is if it comes from you. Would you tell the viewers to subscribe to the Cashflow Talk YouTube channel?
Absolutely. I love what you're doing. I love that you're so real and so raw and so authentic. And like you said, like, you want to get the real stuff out of real estate, right? People want to sell you the shiny object and the millions that you're going to make, but they don't talk about the stuff in the middle, which is the learning and the troubles and the hard stuff that comes. So I love what you're doing with the Cashflow Talk and Shit Happens. Is that a channel, a YouTube channel?
No, it's the YouTube channel. It's called the Cashflow Talk, and in the Cashflow Talk channel, I have the Deal Makers and the Shit Happens.
Yeah, that Shit Happens is going to be awesome. We'll definitely connect on that as well, because we have plenty of stories. But I love it. I love the realness of it, and I'm just excited that you're part of our network now.
Awesome, Christy. Thank you so much again for your time. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for being on with me today. Say hi to Ray for me, please. And rock on. Get things going and keep pushing.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Bye.